Good afternoon, everybody. I welcome all of you to the next panel we have in store for you. The topic is role of high-risk, committed, collaborative, patient grant capital for unleashing innovations. I'll quickly introduce our panelists. So we have Madhav Joshi, who's the CEO of IHF, India Health Fund, an initiative of Tata Trust and the Global Fund, which aims to accelerate the control and elimination of communicable diseases. We have Naghma Mulla, CEO of EdelGive Foundation, the philanthropic initiative of Edelweiss. Rajesh Krishnan, CEO of the Bangalore chapter of United Way, one of the oldest and largest privately funded charities in the world. We have Rizwan Koita, co-founder of CTS Tech, India's first healthcare unicorn and 25th unicorn, and co-founder and director at Koita Foundation. We have Sanjay Sarin, Vice President, Access and Country Programs at Find, a global non-profit working to accelerate equitable access to reliable diagnostics across the world. Sanjay Vijayakumar, co-founder Pupil First, an open source technology company which carries the mandate of AICTE to train both students and teachers on industry-ready curriculum. Rajesh, CSR capital has been a big boon to the development sector and today constitute almost 30% of all the philanthropic capital that's available. But what we've seen is that CSR capital has typically shied away from innovative, risky projects, right? And typically expect an impact story for every dollar spent. So what do you think can be done to kind of bring them over the wall or convince them, bring them on board to support innovations more? From your vantage point, would love to hear your thoughts.
So, Neetha, thank you so much for the question and thanks for the opportunity. Neetha put me in a fix when she first introduced the session. She said this is a group of funders and recipients, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck because I am both. And I think probably I'm the only one who's both. And let me, with your permission, take this opportunity to clear the air around that. As Neetha said, United Way Bengaluru has been, been a part of ACT, and we are extremely proud of this partnership which has come about. Where, as Mohit very clearly pointed when we had a one-on-one conversation in the morning, he said, while we did all that stuff, you guys kept us honest. That's what our job was, just to focus on ensuring that there is compliance, due diligence, everything happening, and trying to keep pace with the decision making of the funders. And you can imagine it's one of the toughest jobs. And that's what we did. But that's not our day job. We are an NGO, and our job is to make sure we connect the corporate CSR grants with needs in the communities. And in doing that, we also implement the projects for the corporates. So that's what we do, which is what is our primary job. So, and the reason why I said Neetha put me in a fix was that because we play both the roles. And it's been 13 years. So for whatever it's worth, it looks that we seem to be doing our job pretty well. So that's specific to the question which Neetha raised. I think one of the points which Mohit in his panel discussion brought out in the very first morning session, I think one of the points which he very emphatically said was, we are proud of the failures and we look at it as an opportunity to learn. And my friend here was proud about the fact that he failed, 18 times? Never mind. Neetha, we can't afford to fail in the corporate CSR. Now, that's one of the fundamental flaws, this whole methodology is. And let me also here clarify. I think CSR is one of the good things that has happened, to this country. The good thing is between 2014 and 2023, it has significantly evolved. And the better thing that is happening is, in the last 2 years, it has actually catapulted the Indian philanthropy to get into the space big time. And that's where you see a lot of people, and ACT is it's a glaring testimony to that, where there is an availability of unrestricted funding. Under corporate CSR, thanks to the laws, there is absolutely no scope for experimenting. In fact, Naghma may be an exception, but I'm going to take complete dependence on my practical experience meeting the various C-level people, whether the CEO or the CFO. Even before the grant is made, in chaste Hindi, सब ठीक हो जाएगा ना, सब खुश हो जाएंगे बाद में, अच्छा वो रिपोर्ट दे देना, ठीक है? All happy faces. It's like a typical Suraj Bajatiya film. And on top of it, you have layered conversation with 7 people, of which 70% of them are compliance and legal. Nobody is connected with the projects and actually what happens. And then the poor CSR resource, trust me, it's not an enviable position to be in. So sympathies and empathies, because it's extremely important. But again, remember, it's very important what that particular job is being done. But to link it with this is going to be a huge problem. I'm assuming that the way things are shaping up, at least in the next 3-4 years, I don't see this can happen. But where it gets very interesting is the fact that if this ecosystem is able to fund these things and come up with those products, I'm sorry for trivializing it, but that is what is picked up there in that space, then there is a huge opportunity. And that can happen when this particular ecosystem, I'm here referring to ACT type initiatives, which can start funding all these things and then getting fed into the NGO ecosystem, then it can go back to the corporates, where you can probably look at it from an operating this thing, or even kind of scaling it up and all that stuff. Per se, venturing for these adventurism through corporate CSR at this point of time is a no-go.
No, absolutely, Rajesh. So what Madhav was talking about before, right? There are several valleys of death during the product development life cycle. So while people like ACT and IHF can underwrite and de-risk the early stages, once there is a product that is ready for use at a patient bedside, then even then the innovator needs support, right? Yeah. To get real world evidence, to break into the clinical workflow and so on and so forth. That's probably a good,
absolutely.
Good package.
So, the opportunity for collaboration is plenty, and this word underwrite is taboo in CSR. So that's just about it. But then, where the gap, one of the gap, Neetha, is, I think people like us in United Way Bengaluru, we are privileged because we are exposed to this ecosystem. And people like us can play that catalytic role, where we are able to try and get all what Rizwan is working on and other things, and probably provide them this type of market also. I'm not going to say larger market, this avenue of market also, which definitely is going to look for those solutions. So, I think more such of these things need to happen, where we are also exposed. The other important aspect I want to touch upon is the fact that technology is here to stay. I think that's no brainer. But one of the challenges which we face in the NGO ecosystem is one, it's not that they are technology averse. The point is access and the cost. The second aspect is going to be the challenge for the NGO system to not able to articulate their needs of technology in their work is another aspect. Now, this is where if there is a possibility of collaboration and something can be worked on. I know there are very few people working on it. And remember, corporates pay a bomb for some of those tech platforms which are there. And I think in the last 6-7 years, what I have seen is at least majority of them have disappeared, which means there's a huge opportunity for us to work on.
So thank you for sharing that. Lot of interesting perspectives emerging, but the bottom line is that philanthropic capital has to do so much more to unleash our innovations